Hi guys, so today we're going to be basically breaking down what we can do with Venomoth in the tier. I think Venomoth, as far as UU tier goes, has kind of a niche as far as right now. If you pull up the viabilities rankings, there's a lot of dark types as far as Hydreigon's been around, and psychic types as far as Latias, which Bugbuzz and Bugginium Z as we're running are going to be able to do a lot of work against. Crook, ever since Gliscor has gone away, has been highly used. Bisharp coming in the tier, we don't have super effective against it, but it's still going to be able to blow back a Bisharp as far as +1 Bugginium's going to do massive amount. Sharpedo, Slowbro, Celebi. You don't see Celebi as much, but I mean everything kind of in A rank or above. I mean you see just a lot of things that I think Venomoth could do a fair amount of work against. And so as far as the set we're running, so Tinted Lens, like any other Venomoth, is going to run, and Quivered Dance is the main thing Venomoth is you're ever going to see him do. So Bug Buzz and Sludge Bomb for stabs, and Tinted Lens takes advantage of stab against anything that's not very effective. So if we're using it against an Infernape that Bug Buzz doesn't affect for ×2, then it's going to do normal damage, which could be very helpful. And you can run Sleep Powder, but on this set I'm going to try running Roost on this and seeing how it works out, because I'm trying a little bit of a bulkier set on this Venomoth, where the speed stat we're running is 172, where this 284, actually, want that one higher. So what this is going to do is basically speed us above base 70s max speed, and what this is most important for is Mega Altaria, or base 80s, sorry. Mega Altaria, we're going to be able to hit with Sludge Bomb, which is a huge, very nice for Venomoth, since that's one of the big things it can deal with, is get rid of Fairy types, get rid of Dark types, get rid of Psychic types, and then the other thing we're going to be looking for is Togekiss, which is also base 80. So that'd be further down here. And another big thing Venomoth's going to be able to blow back. So with that, we have basically what Venomoth's going to have a hard time dealing with is Aerodactyl, Scizor, Terrakion, Cobalion, Blissey, Moltres. I mean, things that are basically going to resist it and things that are going to outspeed it and kill it. So I think Terrakion fits this role pretty well, meaning we need something that can check these, and all of those get checked by either fighting or by Brock, and both these are going to be huge for Terrakion. So to fill this, just going to Scarf. We need speed control, and Terrakion's going to be able to fill that quite well, and I prefer Earthquake on it over running like Quick Attack or X-Scissor or something, given that Earthquake's going to be able to hit electric types a lot more solidly, and Tentacruel is a big one. And here it could either run X-Scissor or Rock Slide. I prefer being able to hit accurately when I need to, and I know it's only 90%, but that's still way better than what we could have. And just gonna run Jolly Max, and okay, so after that, going through this, I think Empoleon fits pretty well, right? So Thingwings, this is going to still need Defog, Brox, but as far as resistances go, which is the main thing I'm looking at right now, Empoleon's going to be able to take Psychic moves, which both Venomoth and Terrakion, it's one of their biggest weaknesses, and then also still need a Water Resist because Terrakion's weak to that, and Empoleon fits that role pretty well. So Empoleon, not going to do anything fancy, just smacking standard set on here, Defog, Scald, and here you can kind of mix up what you want, but I prefer being able to toxic things so they can't just move around to me, and I'm going to throw Protect on here, and I'll show you why in just a second, but just going to run standard set as far as Empoleon, looking at just standard Smogon set, which I've used tons of times, 76, and then throw the rest into Spadef. What this is basically going to do is just allow us to eat hits on both sides, since we don't have it where we're going to come in on only special moves or only physical moves. This is just general resistances. Now, the reason we threw Defog on there, why we threw Protect on there, is so we can bring in Hippowdon, and Hippowdon's going to cover up anything else we're going to want to run in Empoleon. So Hippowdon's nice because we need a ground type to deal with electric moves for Empoleon, and it's a big physical wall that can deal with a lot of things we don't want to deal with. And Stealth Rock's big keen, so that's two of the things we want on the team kind of smacked away. And with this, we're also going to run Whirlwind so that it can't have people setting up on Hippowdon, which otherwise could run Roar on Empoleon. But now, and just throwing Slack off, since that's generally every Hippowdon's going to run that. And with that, just standard again, and it amazes me that they kind of like flip between 76 and 80 on both of them. But so 252 and then 80 and 176, and I forget which nature that ran. Impish. Right, yeah, Hippo's fat monster. And so now we have kind of solid core so far, but another big thing we're going to want is flying type, and I think Togekiss is going to fill that the best for this team. So with that, given that we already have a defogger, chose to run more of an offensive Togekiss with this set. So I'm going to be running Nasty Plot, Air Slash, which is pretty standard on a lot of sets for Smogon, but with this you're going to be able to set up but don't have to. And also, we're going to throw a roost on here. Basically, we can set up and we can sweep, or we can just be utility, which is really nice. But here we can either run Flamethrower, T-Bolt, Flame, or Heal Bell. Because this team has a hard time with Scizor, I think that this fits pretty well. Togekiss run Flamethrower is going to be able to deal with that, given that Scizor, yes, we can bring in Empoleon, but an SD Scizor is going to still kind of blow back Empoleon if it gets too weak. And both these mons can deal with it under certain circumstances, but still is going to deal with Terrakion really hard. And Venomoth is not going to have the most fun time with it, and Togekiss just does not have a fun time with Bullet Punch. So with this, just standard 252 for Togekiss, which you see running around in most of the tier. Speed just lets it outspeed anything that's... This is kind of the breaking point for... You're either... If you're faster in Togekiss, you're a fast mon in the tier. If you're slower, you're generally pretty slow. So with that, we have pretty solid core between Empoleon, Hippo, and Togekiss, and nice offensive core between Venomoth and Terrakion. And this is pretty balanced all by itself, but I still prefer having a Dark type on the team with the tier, because Latias alone is a pretty good reason, but Psychic types in general, don't want to let them coming around for free, because there aren't that many of them because of how many Dark types are running around, but they can be really strong if you leave them unchecked when you have things such as Ezelf, Slowbro, all sorts of nasty stuff, Starmie. But for that reason, I thought Sharpedo fits the bill pretty well. Now, why Sharpedo is, we still need something that can clean up, and Sharpedo takes advantage of everything that Venomoth deals with, meaning we're getting rid of Dark types, we're getting rid of Fairy types, and both these things are usually things that get in the way of Sharpedo sweeping. Now, running just standard Sharpedo, basically just cleaning late game, and gonna just run Crunch, Ice Fang, Psychic Fangs, which this allows to be able to hit everything. And Ice Fang, it doesn't hit that many things because Crunch and Psychic Fangs hit pretty much everything in the tier, except for this is really, really nice for Hydreigon, which after a speed boost we outspeed, which is going to be huge because otherwise we wouldn't really be able to touch it. So just standard 252 on both, and I'm still gonna run. I want to run Jolly just to make sure we don't get outspeed by things, just because Mega Shark's only at base 105. Now, with this, I think this team does kind of round out pretty solidly, and Venomoth it's basically just going to be able to set up. It's not meant to clean an entire team. You're not going to see this 6-0ing people, but this can take 1, 2, 3 pokes, and I think it does take advantage of fatter teams, given that Roost kind of helps with that, and it can't get toxic, so you have to have some way of dealing with it. And then I also think it can get away with opponents that aren't wary of what it's going to do to them. It's going to be able to deal with pretty well, and I think that it helps round out the weaknesses of Shark and Terrakion, and it makes a very strong offensive core. But overall, it's pretty standard balanced team to kind of plus Venomoth thrown on, and Shark, I normally run the spikes, but I think he can still do some work given that this team has a lot of kind of forcing switches, because Hippowdon itself just rocks plus Whirlwind. You tend to roar things out everywhere, and a lot of these things cause oh, I have a perfect counter for this, but if you're taking rocks every time and taking sand, it's going to start racking up. And the same with this is also sand. Half the mons on this team don't mind, and the other half, they aren't usually going to be staying in too long. They're meant to sweep. So that's all I got for you guys on this team, and then we'll have another video basically using the team and seeing how well we can do.